is a continuation of the topic we did the other day. Not a continuation, however, similar topic. It's on reading exercises and vocabulary. It's called processing. You have to read a text, a paragraph, and answer questions based on that. Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Just give me a minute. To our pro learners, I have sent the invite. Please join me. So without wasting time, let's start the topic. So I've mentioned names of our learners who did the reading exercise the other day. That was Deepa, Shivani, Krishna, Somsundar, Asudev, and Abhay. Okay, Karthik. Yes. Karthik, let's start with you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So the way we, just give me a minute. So the way we do it is, so Shrikant and Mehak, you all were not a part of the session the other day. He'll read the paragraph. If there's a feedback about the pronunciation of the words, I will share that. You all need to just repeat the words. And if anyone has any questions about the vocabulary, please feel free to ask. Okay. So just give me 1 minute, Karthik, before you start.
So what have to do in this lessons means?
You have to read the passage and answer the questions based on that. So,
So answer is only in this, means I can find in this only, na?
Yes.
Answer.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. But the most important thing here is reading the vocabulary and the
Okay.
pronunciation. Okay, so we're looking at working on the pronunciation. Okay, and vocabulary,
Okay,
of course. Yes. Just give me a minute, Karthik. Still adding some of our learners. So translate. Okay. Yes, Karthik, you can start. Go ahead. I'll also be on mute so that I can hear you clearly.
The Roman Empire was the post-Roman Republic period of the ancient Roman civilization, characterized by a government headed by emperors and large territorial holdings around the Mediterranean Sea in Europe, Africa, and Asia.
Can you pronounce the word civilization?
Civilization.
Z. You're saying sir. The sound is z. So civilization.
Civilization.
Yeah. Characterized.
Characterized.
Yeah, very good. Characterized. Z. So S becomes Z in this case. So characterized. Okay. Territorial.
Territorial.
Yeah, that's correct. That's fine. So relatively straightforward. Anyone has any questions about the vocabulary? Understandable. The vocabulary is not very difficult to understand here. Yes. So let's continue. Karthik, go ahead. You can answer the questions based on this. First, read the question.
Around which sea did the Roman Empire have its holding? Answer is Mediterranean Sea.
Okay. Answer is Mediterranean Sea. Well done. For other learners, please select your answers on the respective live screen. Okay. Okay, well done. Thank you. Let's continue with Mehak. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just give me a minute. I just need to mention the names of our learners who've done the reading exercise. Okay. Just give me a minute. Some of our learners are still joining. Yes, go ahead, Mike. You can continue. Please read the next paragraph.
The first 2 centuries of the empire's existence were a period of unprecedented, sir, I can't pronounce this. Can you
That's okay.
help
Unprecedented.
me? Unprecedented political stability and prosperity, known as the Pax Romana or Roman peace. The Roman Empire was among the most powerful economic, cultural, political, and military forces in the world of its time. It was the largest empire of the classical antiquity period and one of the largest empires in world history. That's it.
Okay, we'll come to the pronunciations. Okay, let's start with existence.
Existence.
Something that exists, of course. Unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented means something that has never happened before. Okay. So that was a period of unprecedented political stability and prosperity. So the kind of political stability and prosperity, can you pronounce the word prosperity?
Prosperity.
Yeah. Known as Pax Romana or Roman peace. So what did the sentence here means? That the first 2 centuries of the empire's existence, which empire? The Roman Empire. For the benefit of our learners who just joined, this was the first paragraph. The Roman Empire was the Roman Empire was the post-Roman Republic period of the ancient Roman civilization, characterized by a government headed by emperors and large territorial holdings around the Mediterranean Sea in Europe, Africa, and Asia. This was the first paragraph. We continued with the second one. What it states is, the first 2 centuries of the empire's existence were a period of unprecedented political stability. ऐसा political stability or prosperity पहले कभी नहीं देखा गया था. The Roman Empire was among the most powerful economic, cultural, that's fine, the other pronunciations. Antiquity, can you pronounce the word antiquity?
Antiquity.
Yes, Mehak, can you pronounce the word antiquity?
Antiquity.
Cutie, ne, antiquity.
Antiquity.
Yes, antiquity, yes. Now,
So what it means, antiquity?
Antiquity means something that is like antiques, something that is old. Here, no, here in this particular case, just give me a minute. Here in this case, it should mean the ancient times, or let's say the distant past. So it says it was the largest empire of the classical antiquity period. Antiquity period in this case means an ancient period. That's what it means. Classical times, olden times. Like history is divided into what happened during the, there are different periods. Like we have the Industrial Revolution, then we had different periods in history where there was romanticism, there was a great, there was a huge influx of poets, writers, the great literary period, etc. Here it talks about an ancient period in time. That's what it means. Okay. The other words, anyone has any questions about any other vocabulary? Well read.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good. Yes, sir.
Yes. Anyone else has any questions about any vocabulary?
Sir, unprecedented.
I just explained something that has not happened before, something that has never been witnessed, or something that has never happened before. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So prosperity.
Prosperity, growth, progress. Yes.
Okay.
So, like for example, our we in India also different rulers ruled, and there was great prosperity. Like for example,
that means they had a lot of money. They are wealthy.
Yeah. Wealthy, successful, profitable, affluent, good life, security, whatever you want to call it. Prosperity means progress in all different spheres of different aspects of life and society. I mean, in society. Okay, let's continue with. Okay, who's yet to answer? We got Deepa. You had read the other day. Mehak is done. Shrikant, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Shrikant. Let's continue with you. Okay, first, yes, Meg, go ahead, answer the questions first.
What were the first 2 centuries of what were the first 2 centuries of the empire's existence known as? The answer is Pax Romana, first one.
Very good. Well done. Go ahead. Answer the next one. Classical antiquity period. The Roman Empire was the largest in which time? Classical antiquity. Okay. Well done. Thank you. Yes, Shrikant, go ahead. Please read the next paragraph, the passage.
City planning and urban lifestyles had been influenced by Greeks from an early period. In the Eastern Empire, Roman rule accelerated and shaped the local development of cities that already had a strong Hellenistic character. Cities such as Athens, Arphodisias, Ephesus, and Gerasa altered some aspects of city planning and architecture to conform to imperial ideals while also expressing their individual identity.
Okay, good. Let's look at the words, the pronunciation. City planning and urban lifestyles had been influenced. Can you pronounce the word influenced?
Influenced,
Pronounce the word accelerated.
accelerated,
Early.
early,
Eastern.
eastern,
Shaped.
shape,
Now you read it right. Shaped, that's how you pronounce it. You read it as earlier, your pronunciation was shaped. So there is a concern regarding words that end with ed. Work on that. A couple of other words for pronunciation. Development.
development,
Development.
development,
Architecture.
architecture,
Aspects.
aspects,
Imperial.
imperial,
Ideals.
ideals,
Identity.
identity,
Okay. So once again, a couple of words. Influenced.
influenced,
Shaped.
shaped,
Shaped.
shaped,
Yeah, very good. Shaped. The D has to sound. So I understand there could be some words here. So I will just explain the vocabulary here. So influenced here basically means what? Influenced by something, affected by something. Okay. So his decision was influenced by his circumstances, means prabhavit hona. That's what it means. Influenced. Okay. So city planning and urban lifestyles had been influenced by the Greeks from an early period in Eastern Empire. Roman rule accelerated. So in the Eastern Empire, Roman rule accelerated means moved fast, proceeded, progressed, and shaped the local development of cities that already had a strong Hellenistic character. So there are some cities mentioned here: Athens, Aphrodisias. The pronunciation for that third city here should be Ephesus. I think the P is silent in that. I will check that for you. Gerasa was a very popular city. Altered means changed, could change hua. Change some aspects of city planning. So these were the cities that altered some aspects of city planning and architecture to conform to imperial ideals. What it means is that the city planning, city का जो planning था, उसका जो आर्किटेक्चर था उसको इंपीरियल आइडियल्स की तरह से उसको डिजाइन किया था. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल ब्रिटिशर्स रूल्ड आवर कंट्री फॉर 200 odd years, right? So you will see that there are a lot of historical places, or there are a lot of sites which are influenced by rule, by their planning. Like for example, in Mumbai we have the station, the Churchgate station, we have the Homino, the Circle, then we have different places, gardens, etc., which are influenced by their ideals. Similarly, we had regional rulers, right? So for example, when you go to a place like Rajasthan, you will come across different palaces, temples, etc., that confirmed to their ideals. So what they thought, what was the culture at that time, and also express their individual identity. Every ruler, every king, every emperor had their own individual identity. Some were more into war, some were more creative, some were more into art forms. Like, for example, we have temples in Madhya Pradesh, etc., which are renowned for their art forms, right? So different rulers, different ideals, and different ways of expressing their individual identity. Anyone has any questions about any words?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I want to know about the Hellenic character. Which type of character is this?
Hellenistic character here basically means something that is related to Greece, Greek history. That's what it means, like the Alexander the Great, etc. So anything that is called as an, so what it says is Roman rule accelerated and shaped the local development of cities that already had strong Hellenistic character. Hellenistic character means something that stems from something that is related to Greek history, Greece. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anyone else has any questions?
Yes, sir. I heard about Helen, the character in Greece. Helen.
Helena. Yes, Helena, I think, is what the character you're referring to. See, they have names which are, so gods, right? Gods are given names, right? Like we in India also have names for gods. Similarly, there are names given. So yes, the Greek mythology is Greek history, Greek antiquity is considered to have influenced a lot of things, considered to have influenced a lot of art culture. Like, for example, we have theater. Theater is very popular in India as well. Some of the plays that you come across will have will have drawn inspiration from Greek mythology or Greek history, etc. So this is what it means, that the cities का already एक particular character था, उसमें और add हुआ उनके Roman rules, Roman rule में वो characters जो थे वो और add हुए, and their progress became faster. That's what it basically means here. Okay. All right. I hope the other words are self-explanatory here, expressing individual identity, architecture. Yeah, imperial, again, something that is belonging to a past ancient time. Okay. All right, let's continue. Shrikant, go ahead, please answer the questions that follow. Read the question first.
Who influenced the city planning and
Again. Can you read the question again? Who
influenced?
Yeah, good. Who influenced the city planning and urban lifestyles of the Romans? What is the answer? Okay, the first one, the Greeks. We just discussed that, something that is Hellenistic in nature. So that is Greeks. Okay, go ahead. Please read the next question, Shrikant.
Which city altered its planning to conform to imperial ideas?
We just discussed the pronunciation. Shrikant, please read the question again.
Which city altered?
Is it altered or altered?
Altered.
Yes, we just discussed that word. So guys, please remember when I give a feedback. Yeah, the answer is Aphrodisiacs. Okay. So please work on the pronunciation, Shrikant, for the words that end with ed. Okay. Most of the times, whenever the word ends with ed, the letter that is after e, which is d, and the one before it, they get joined. So you do not pronounce the word as altered. You pronounce the word as altered. You do not pronounce the word which was here as influenced, influenced, shaped, no, shaped. Okay. So work on the pronunciation for the words ending in ed. Okay. All right.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. That's okay. Let's continue with Deepa. We discussed the other day. Yes, go ahead. Jaspreet, please read the next slide.
Yes, sir. In the city of Rome, most people lived in multi-story apartment buildings that were often
Again. Can you start again? I'm sorry, I lost you. And
Yes,
please, Jaspreet, please pronounce the words that end with s with a plural. I've said this multiple times. You need to work on the s. Yeah, go ahead.
In the city of Rome, most people lived in multi-story apartment buildings that were often squalid, fire traps. Public facilities such as baths, toilets that were flushed with running water. Conven- convenni- conventionally Conventionally located basin or elaborate fountains delivering fresh water and large-scale entertainments such as chariot races and gladiator combat were aimed primarily at the common people who lived in the city.
Okay. Let me read in the city of Rome, most people lived in multi-story apartment buildings that were often squalid. Squalid is how you pronounce the word. Squalid means something that is extremely dirty. Okay, something that is untidy, extremely dirty. And you pronounce the word as squalid, SQUALID, squalid. Squalid fire traps, public
Squalid.
facilities. Yes, squalid. Squalid. Like squad, squalid. Okay. Then a couple of words: flush, running water, conveniently. Pronounce the word conveniently.
Conveniently.
Basins.
Basins.
Elaborate.
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 Fountains.
Fountains.
Fountain. Fountains.
Fountains.
Yes. Chariot.
Chariot.
Chariot means rath, right? Chariot. Gladiator is fine. Aimed.
Gladiator.
Aimed. Aimed primarily. Aimed primarily.
Primarily.
So when you say primary, pronounce the word primary.
Primary.
Primarily.
Primarily.
No, you're joining the two letters that you're not supposed to. So just read it. We aimed primarily at the common people who lived in the city. Read the entire sentence.
Yes,
Were aimed. I'm sorry. Were aimed.
Were aimed primarily at the common people who lived in the city.
Very good. Good pronunciation. Well read. Yes. So here the particular meaning of this particular text is that in the city of Rome, most people lived in multi-story apartment buildings that were often squalid fire traps. So squalid fire traps means dirty, extremely dirty fire traps. Something that if there is a problem somewhere, then it would be a major issue for them to escape that. Okay. So fire trap. That's what it here. Fire trap basically means a building where there is no possibility to escape. Like, for example, in India, we have some localities where the buildings are so narrowly congested, they are so joined to each other, they are connected to each other, that if there is an unfortunate event of a fire, in case of a fire, there is no proper provision or there is no proper escape route. Okay, so that's what it means. These were people lived in multi-story apartments that had dirty buildings. Those were dirty houses where there was where you cannot escape if there is some emergency or there's some unfortunate incident. So public facilities such as baths, toilets that were flushed with running water, conveniently located, basins or elaborate fountains delivering fresh water, large-scale entertainment such as, okay, yes. So these were aimed at the common people who lived in the city. However, yes, so it was a bit of everything. Yes, you had some facilities. However, simultaneously, there were people who were living in places which were not very good to live in. Those were not the ideal situations or circumstances for one to live in. That's what it basically means here. Elaborate, extensive, that's what it means. Conveniently, we all understand the meaning of it. Chariot races, races, chariot races were very common in India as well. Gladiator combat, if anyone's seen Gladiator movie where two people fight with each other, it's like another form of wrestling, but in a mass scale in front of an audience, large audience, right? And the winner is the one who kills someone else. So that's the gladiator combat, where you have to survive in order to win. That's what it means. Okay, go ahead, Jaspreet, answer the next question.
Yes, sir. What were most apartment buildings called? Squalid fire traps.
Squalid
Fire traps.
Squalid fire traps. Yes, correct. Go ahead, read the next question.
who used the baths, toilet basins, and fountains. The
Fountains.
common fountains. The common people.
Common people. Absolutely. That's correct. Well done. Shubha, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you were a part of the session the other day. I don't think you had the opportunity to read. So let's continue with you. Okay. Thank you, Jaspreet. Well done. Well read. Just work on the feedback, just the S, the sound, the plural words. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead, Shubha. Please continue.
The public baths served hygienic, social, and cultural
I'm sorry,
functions.
Shubha. There was someone who was joining. So can you start again? I didn't hear you clearly.
Okay, sir. The public baths served hygienic, social, and cultural functions. Bathing was the focus of daily uh, so socializing in the late afternoon before dinner. Baths had hypocaust heating where the floors were suspended over hot air channels that uh, circulated warmth. Mixed nude bathing was not unusual in the early empire, though some baths may have offered um, separate facilities or hours for men and women. Public baths were a part of urban culture uh, throughout the provinces. Province.
Provinces is correct. The pronunciation is correct. Provinces. So I'll come to the pronunciation. Just give me one quick minute. Okay. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Still adding some of our. Okay, let's look at the pronunciation. Okay. Served. Pronounce the word served.
Served.
Served. No, served.
Served.
Hygienic.
Hygienic.
Daily.
Daily.
Socializing.
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 Hypocaust.
Hypocaust.
I'll come to the meanings. Suspended.
Suspended.
Circulated.
Circulated.
Mixed.
Mixed.
Unusual.
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 You're getting there. Unusual.
Unusual.
Yes, very good. Offered.
Offered.
Separate.
Separate.
Throughout.
Throughout.
Provinces.
Provinces.
Provinces. Yes, very good. Well done. I will come to the vocabulary. So hypocaust here. Okay. Hypocaust. I'm sorry. The word should be pronounced hypocaust. Hypocaust basically means, I will type the meaning here. Just give me a minute. Let me read the meaning for you all. Okay. Yeah. A hollow space. I've typed the meaning on the chat. Hypocaust basically means a hollow space under the floor of an ancient Roman building into which hot air was sent for heating a room or bath. Okay. So this kind of bathing facilities were also available in India, right? There is a different form in there's a different form in Turkey, for example. We call that place, I think it's known as hammams, if I'm not wrong, where it uses a similar kind of technology. We have anyone who's from cities, hammam. Yes, hammam is the one that I was referring to. Anyone who's from historical cities like Rajasthan, etc. If you've ever visited a palace or a fort, you will also come across similar kind of places where this kind of technology is used for steaming, for steams, basically. So hot air sent for heating a room or a bath. Okay. The other words here, suspended, we understand, circulated, moved around. Mixed nude bathing was not unusual in early empire, although some baths may have offered separate facilities or hours for men and women. So same place, but they could also offer different hours for men and women. Public baths were a part of urban culture throughout the provinces. So yes, anyone who's read a bit of ancient history will come across, should be able to relate to this. Anyone has any questions about any words, any vocabulary?
The socializing means
Socializing means you go to a party, you attend a party, you meet people, you talk to them. That is called socializing. To be in the society, to mingle around, to mingle with people, and to just give me a minute. Yes, and to socialize. To socialize means to talk to people, to meet people, to interact with people, and to get together. That's what it means. Okay. Any other words? Any other words, guys, for vocabulary? It's okay. Yes, the other words are, I suppose, easy to understand. No problem. Let's continue. Shubha, please read the next question and answer it. Shubha, you're on mute. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Batik was the focus of daily socializing during late afternoons. Second one, sir.
During late afternoons. Well done. Go ahead.
What are hypocaust baths? Heated baths. Second one, sir.
Hippocaust. What are hippocaust baths? Heated baths. Yes, that's correct. Where we spoke about the system where you use hot air, so steams basically. Well done. Thank you. Well done, Shubha. Thank you. Let's continue with Isha. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Isha, let's continue with you. Please read the next paragraph.
Rich families from Rome usually had 2 or more houses, a townhouse, and at least one luxury home outside the city. The domus was a privately owned single family house and might be furnished with a private bath, but it was not a place to retreat from public life. Although some neighborhoods of Rome saw a higher concentration of well to do houses, the rich did not live in a segregated enclaves. Their houses were meant to be visual and accessible.
Okay, well done. Yes, so a couple of things. So you need to work on the S sound. So a couple of words here for pronunciation. Usually, pronounce the word usually.
Usually.
You're pronouncing it as usually. It's usually.
Usually.
Yeah, work on that. Just make a note of it.
Okay.
Privately.
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 Yeah. Domus.
Domus.
Domus. Yes, that's correct. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Okay. Then a couple of other words. Furnished.
Furnished.
Again, you are pronouncing it as furnished. It's furnish because it is SH. So you need to work on the S and the SH sound. Let's read it again. Might be furnished.
Might be furnished.
Yeah, very good. Getting close to it. Other words, segregated.
Segregated.
Accessible.
Accessible.
Luxury.
Luxury.
You're pronouncing it as luxury. It's luxury. Luxury.
Luxury.
Yeah, luxury. So these are some of the words. There was one more. Although. Can you pronounce the word although?
Although.
Although, very good. Concentration.
Concentration.
Neighborhoods.
Neighborhoods.
Enclaves.
Enclaves.
Enclave. No, it sounds B at times. So enclaves. Okay.
Enclaves.
Yeah, very good. Visible.
Visible.
Yeah, now it's correct. Yes. So yes, these are some of the words here. Domus basically here in this case means a private family residence. Self-explanatory. The domus was a privately owned single family house. So that is what is known as a domus, where it is a private family residence or of which is similar, which is a bit similar to palaces. However, it is not as big as a palace. However, it is a residence that is modest to the it cannot be as big as a palace, otherwise it will be known as a palace. However, it's similar, and it would have facilities that can also possibly reflect the style and the decor of a palace. So that's called a domus, which is a privately owned house. A couple of other words here. Okay, Isha, what is the meaning of the word retreat here?
Just a second, sir. Sir, in which lands a retreat? Oh, but it was not a place to retreat from public life. मतलब sir, public लोगों को use करने का permission नहीं था. Is it right?
Yes, so it was here in this case, retreat basically means a haven or a refuge, like a hiding place, a quiet place where one can rest and relax. So the meaning of the sentence is, the domus was a privately owned single family house and might be furnished with a private bath, but it was not a place to retreat from public life. मतलब आप public life से यहाँ पे छुप नहीं सकते थे. Although it was a privately owned place, you could not hide from the public life because it was still accessible to the public, right? So refuge, जिसे कहते हैं, shelter, hiding place, hideout, that is the meaning here. Okay. All right. Any other words, Isha, for understanding, for vocabularies? Segregated means separate.
Yeah. Segregated and separate. Yeah. I know. The private was not a place to.
So what is the what is meaning by accessible? The last line.
Accessible, right?
Accessible.
You pronounce it as accessible.
Yes,
accessible is a place that is reachable.
accessible.
The place where you have access to. Reachable, like for
reachable. From access is accessible.
Yes, that's correct. Reachable, a place that is reachable, convenient, ready, nearby. Okay.
Okay.
So, what is the meaning of enclaves?
Enclave. Yeah. Enclave basically means here in this particular case. So enclave basically means here a territory which is surrounded by a larger territory. Okay, where people. So here the sentence given is, although some neighborhoods of Rome show a higher concentration of well-to-do houses, the rich did not live in segregated enclaves. Means they did not stay in separate territory. Enclave, the meaning of enclave here means a portion of territory. I will type the meaning here and read it. Just give me a minute. Okay. A portion of territory within or surrounded by a larger territory whose inhabitants, people who live, are culturally or ethnically distinct, different. So what is the contradiction given here? Some neighborhoods of Rome show a higher concentration of well-to-do houses. The rich did not live in segregated enclaves. So there are three classes of people, right? One is the rich or super rich.
Middle class and lower class.
Lower class, yes. So similarly, right throughout history, right from the time that life started, basically, we know that people are segregated into, classified into different
racial
classes.
Difference between
Discrimination. It's not just racial, it can be cultural, ethnic differences, etc. So here what it means is they did not live in separate or segregated enclaves. Okay. All right, let's continue. Anyone else has any other question? Okay, Isha, go ahead, please.
Okay, sir.
Read the question.
What was the sir, first one? What was a privately owned single family house called? Domus.
Domus, yes, absolutely right. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Correct answer. Yes. Go ahead, Isha.
So, did the rich live in segregated enclaves?
Yes or no?
No.
No. Yeah. No. It's correct. Well done. Just give me a minute.
Sir, second one.
Correct. Absolutely right. Just give me a minute. Well done. Okay, well done. Thank you. Yes, well done, guys. So I've mentioned names of our learners who were able to do the reading exercises. Other learners, I will just take name. Gautam, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Gautam, if I type a message on the chat, let's say I just typed hi, can you read it? On the chat, you can?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, you can. So if I type, yep.
Yeah. Let's have to read.
No. If I type a passage, if I type a paragraph, will you be able to read it from the chat?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Very good. I'll come back to you. What about Renuka? Can you see my message? Hi.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Raj Gopal, can you see